Yeah, you know, it's funny. Somebody asked me that the other day. I think, for me, advice. This is what I told them, and I think this is probably the most succinct way I can say it. And it's probably the thing I would most emphasize because there's, a billion things that'd be like, do this, don't do that. But your advice is always autobiographical, so it's like I have to be careful because that's just what my story was. So I don't be the guy that's like, let me tell you what's going to work for you and everybody else in the world. But I do think a sort of ground level truth that is true all the time, at least in my opinion, is I think you have to really have a passion for this. It has to be something you really feel a calling to. Like, this is one of the reasons that I'm here. Like, I feel a very strong pull to this because, especially in 2012, I mean, music as an industry is a volatile industry. It's not, it's not a 10, 15 years ago that was safe and, oh, let me tell you, this is how it's going to work, and it works every time, and every artist we've had has worked this way, just trust me, this is the system. I mean, if ever there was a time where the system was completely on its side, for good and bad, it's now. And so I think the thing that I've told a lot of young artists, I'm like, hey, I'm sure you love it because everybody loves music. Nobody doesn't like music, but there's a big difference between a hobby and a profession. And I think people can have hobbies and actually have success at hobbies. There's guys who've written a couple songs in their life that have gotten cut and they've made money from, but it was a hobby that they just sort of had fun and luck doing. But there's also the profession, which is a job. I mean, it is a job, and you're going to have a lot of times that you're like really tired of it and you don't want to deal with it, or it comes with, just like any other job, weight and decisions and sacrifices. And I think the only thing that's going to sort of solidify your decision or make you feel better about what you did is that that's what you're supposed to do, and that you've made that decision and you're willing to do the things that comes with the weight of that decision. And so I think a lot of artists, including me, like, kind of get into it and are like, yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I have to be gone for how long, or that's going to cost how much, or I'm only getting paid how much, but I think if you really know that's what you want to do, like, hey, this is the way this goes, and this is what I want to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. And because now, I mean, with especially MySpace, which is sort of a past thing now, but everybody plays music. Who doesn't play music? Who doesn't write songs and post songs online and have people tell them they like it or don't like it? And so it's, which is fine if that's a hobby, but there's so much noise. And so if you're really going to do this, I mean, even more today and tomorrow and times whatever as it goes, you have to really be dedicated to what you're doing and improve on your craft and spend the time you need to do to make this work and be good. And so I don't think that's said enough. I think there's a lot about, oh, you'll play and tour buses and fans and great and money or whatever, which is true, sort of. But, it's a blue-collar job. I mean, music is a job. And so I think you have to really know you want to do that job to do it.
What advice do you wish someone had given you?
What advice do I wish somebody give me? I'm not kidding. I really feel like I was well equipped. I really feel like my education in MTSU, there's not much stuff that in retrospect I look back and I say it would change. Really because of that. And I mean that because it sounds like a MTSU, go Blue Raiders, which is true, but they just did a great job, man. I really can't say that enough. I feel like they really were able to give me a very realistic view of what was happening at that time, and even now, of like, this is what artist managers do, this is what booking guys do, this is what a live show pays and doesn't pay, and promotion and how that works, and copyright law, and what does it mean if you accidentally steal from a song, and just everything that was just ground level necessary things for someone who's really going to try to pursue this for a lifetime, and how you can set yourself up to do that. And so there's just not much. I mean, I've thought about that every now and then, like, man, if I could go back in time and now sit with me at 21 and be like, hey, there's not much I would change. It really isn't. I think there's things I'd probably say, hey, do this and don't do that, but they're not significant enough that I know I'd say that, because I feel like I landed in a really great place. I mean, I'm being interviewed for Grammys. I'm like, something went right, But I feel like that's because of, you said before, I love the word you said, education. It's like having been educated about things, and I think that's important. I was really blessed that I didn't have to learn those things the hard way, because I had a professor saying, hey, learn it in here where it's safe, where you don't walk out with scars. So.